Okay, whoa. Angels, what we meant was fight to win this season, not fight with your actual fists.
Fight.
I guess we just need to clarify that because after what happened on Sunday against the Mariners, I think they took our fight language a little too serious. John and I are going to talk about that. Plus, we're going to open up the mailbag and the voicemail. It's going to be a great episode. You're locked on with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. You listening on the audio side, you can rate and review. And you watching on the video side, hello. You can subscribe and click the bell to be notified every time a new episode drops. And today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, more odds, and more lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts.
Hey, thanks for joining us for this edition of Locked On Angels. You've got the Frisch Brothers, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros here with you. My name is John, and that is my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that is my brother John.
Man, what a day.
This is Locked On Eye of the Tiger. Is that what we need to call this? Is this WrestleMania?
I after the game, I watched AEW's Forbidden Door crossover with New Japan, and I think that there was more action in the Angels game on Sunday, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But man, what a weekend.
It was an interesting weekend, Johnny, because I don't know about you. I'm sure like other Angel fans felt the way that I felt. But after watching the first two games of this series, I was ready to light the match that started the dumpster fire because just was so frustrating after losing 2 or 3 to the Royals. We had taken 4 or 5 from the Mariners last weekend. And so we thought, hey, this is going to be a weekend where we could take at least 2 or 3. And so Lorenzen starts on Friday. And I guess he's been figured out by the Mariners because he only goes 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. It was the 4 walks, and that's what really did him in. And he did strike out some batters, 5, but I felt like maybe he was pulled a bit too early in this game. What do you think?
Mike, I feel like our pitchers are so afraid to attack the zone. And when you have a team like the Mariners who – they can put the ball in play, and they're certainly good at that. But I feel like a theme throughout this whole weekend, except maybe on Sunday, was why aren't you going after some of these guys? They're not hitting very well. They don't have high averages. Ty France is not in the lineup, and he's their heavy hitter.
Yeah.
And they don't have Mitch Haniger right now. Like, why aren't you attacking these guys in the zone and letting the ball do its thing and letting the ball roll out to your defenders who are good? You have a good infield behind you. And I just feel like Lorenzen, like everybody's getting a little too fine. Am I just making that up in my head, or is that actually what's happening here? Because it seems like we're afraid to attack hitters.
I think that Saturday was proof of that because when Sandoval got on the mound and was hoping to maybe get the first win of the series for the Angels, he didn't pitch bad. But what I noticed in that game was a lot of full counts, a lot of 0-2 counts that immediately were 3-2.
Correct.
And that's been his crutch all year long. And even last year, Sandoval is going to be a great pitcher when he figures out how to shut somebody down when he's up 0-2, because he nibbled and he nibbled and he nibbled. He tried to do the slider back door. He tried to do a curve. He tried to do a fastball up, and suddenly it's 3-2. And then he ends up walking somebody. And you have a good point, because this isn't just a Sandoval issue or a Lorenzen issue. This was a bullpen issue as well, because they come in and then suddenly it's 3 balls and no strikes, and we're in trouble. And that's why we find ourselves losing these close games. On Friday, we lost 4-3. And then Saturday, we lost 5-3. And it was just really frustrating. And I think that you're spot on that these pitchers just don't attack the zone.
Look at Reed Detmers and the stuff that he has. The reason why he was able to have a no-hitter was because he trusted his curveball. He trusted his fastball. He trusted putting that thing in the zone, that it's going to fool people. And isn't that what it comes down to at the end of the day with pitching?
Yeah.
You're going to fool people with the stuff that you have, especially when there's a miles per hour differential between your fastball and your changeup or your slider or your curveball. Like that makes all the difference. And I wish that these guys had more confidence to throw these things in the zone. And maybe it's a problem of just not being able to locate, because I'm no professional pitcher, but I know that I would have a hard time hitting the zone if I were up there throwing. But if they would just stick to their regiment and stick to their instruction, I feel like they would have much more success and just challenge these hitters. I think that that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Mark Kubica said on the TV side when he watched Sandy pitch that Sandy was having a tough time finishing. And we've heard that phrase a few times about Detmers, and we've heard that about Sandoval and other pitchers. But I wonder if what Shohei said last week when he pitched that amazing game with the AAA Angels, and he said that he knew that he needed to be really, really good in that game. And I wonder if that mentality has been passed along to some of these younger guys. They feel like they have to be so good and so fine because this offense is struggling that they can't give up any runs. And you and I both know that when you're so focused on something, ultra focused on something, it almost has like a negative impact in what you do in life. And I wonder if this is what's happening with these pitchers. I can't go out there and walk anybody. I have to make sure that I strike everybody out. I can't give up any runs because we're not scoring any runs. And suddenly an 0-2 count becomes a 3-2 count. And maybe that is the major issue here, is that they're just so afraid of giving up runs because we haven't been able to score any runs or get ahead in any games.
Well, look, I just, in the same way that everybody loves the home run ball and hates to see small ball, and that's much more entertaining, quote unquote, the same way I love strikeouts, but they're going to run your pitch count up. And
Absolutely.
If you're doing is getting strikeouts against these guys, then you're going to have 85 pitches in the fourth inning. You're going to be up there, way up in the pitch count by the fifth. And that's not efficient. That's not going to get the job done.
Right.
You mentioned Ohtani, and let me just say that Ohtani had a Barry Bonds territory home run.
He did
on Saturday night, and that was incredible. And he almost had another home run in the bottom of the ninth that would have won the game. It was just a little bit shy of the wall, and it was caught, unfortunately. But speaking of Saturday night's game, and we're going to get into the important stuff here.
Yes.
There was a pitch that was up and in on Mike Trout. Now, everybody knows if you want to strike out Mike Trout, you pitch up and in. But if your pitcher does not have the command to actually get that ball up and in the zone, then you got to be careful. And that's exactly what happened on Saturday night. The ball whizzed by Trout's head. He took issue with it. Everybody took issue with it. In fact, it didn't even hit Trout. They ended up walking him intentionally to put him on after a 2-0 count. And so that led to the circumstances on Sunday. I saw somebody try to mention that, this is the Angels thought that Mariners were retaliating for what happened to Upton. Upton is a former Angel.
Yeah.
And Michael Lorenzen wasn't throwing at his head. Like,
Absolutely
this has nothing
not
to do with that.
Right.
And I really like what Phil Nevin had to say afterwards on Sunday about, hey, we've played 8 games against each other. Of course, there's going to be some tension. But the fact is, it all started with, number one, Walsh getting hit in the brim of his hat and it not counting as a hit by pitch. I don't know what New York was seeing back on the video screen, but we all heard it and saw it. And then Sunday rolls around, and what happens?
There was a big old brouhaha.
A brouhaha.
It was insane. I mean, watching that unfold was really interesting. And I got to explain it to my wife and my youngest daughter because they were like, why is this happening? I'm like, well, here's how baseball works. And so I just kind of ran through what you ran through. And I said, him getting hit in the butt is actually a really good place to get hit. And Jesse Winker didn't like that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start yipping and yelling and it went from 0 to 1,000 in like 2.5 seconds, right? Rysel is going crazy and he's throwing things. And then Rendon has got his surgically repaired right hand behind him and he hits Jesse in the face with his left. I don't know if you saw Jeff Passan's tweet, but he said that was the second greatest thing Rendon did left-handed this year because he hit the home run.
The Rays chimed in and they were upset about that tweet too.
Oh, that's funny.
That was great.
It was just crazy and ridiculous. And can I just say this? Like, I get that there's these baseball moments and I get that we're protecting each other, but grow up, fellas. Like, grow up, right? I know that we were like, oh man, this could start a fire and a fight and ruin. People were like, this is awesome. And listen, I thought it was pathetic, to be honest with you, because these guys are grown men, and we're fighting out there and slapping each other. You know, in the NBA, if you leave the bench, you can get suspended for a few games. Wow. I think they got to do that with dugouts and with bullpen. And even in hockey, if you get into a fight, you can get suspended. This becomes so dangerous. This becomes so silly, and it becomes almost like we're little kids. You're settling matters with your fists on the baseball field because you're upset about that, and this guy doesn't like that, and there's this unspoken rule. Give me a break, John. Give me a break.
Mike, I have to say that the minute I saw Andrew Wantz was starting this game, and a lot of Angel fans felt the same way, you knew what direction this was going. When have we used an opener since Brad Osmus in 2019, who was all about the opener?
Right.
And I knew that this was happening. I knew that Andrew Wantz was going to plunk Julio Rodriguez. And then when he didn't get ejected, he tried to plunk Jesse Winker. He got him in the butt, like you said. Somebody needs to tell Jesse Winker that Mr. 230 can get more hits with the bat than his hands. Then he can have a say. But look, the fact of the matter is, I understand where you're coming from with these guys settling their issues on the field like that. But look, both of these teams needed this fight. They needed to be fired up. I don't disagree
with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, we both suck, Mariners fans. Just so you know, everybody in this situation sucks, and both teams are not good right now. We're fighting for fourth place. Congratulations, Angels. Congratulations, Mariners. You are officially fighting for fourth place. And look, I love my Halos, and at the same time, I understand that this was, the unwritten rules of baseball. There's retaliation involved, and the Angels got their retaliation. And that's what happened at the end of the day. So I understand Mariners fans are upset by the way things went down. But look, your guy got hit in the butt, and it wasn't at his head. It wasn't a dangerous situation. And to flip off the fans and be a jerk like that was not great. And I have to say that it looked to me like Rysel was not done with the conversation because he destroyed the Angels dugout. And that doesn't say to me that he's pissed off about the situation. He's pissed because he's on a crappy team, and he's trying to keep these boys fired up. And so that's why he destroyed their own dugout. It's Eric Ibar throwing all the bats out of the bat stand onto the ground, trying to wake up the bats. Somebody has to do this, and somebody had to do it. And Rysel apparently was the one to do it because he is a multi-million-dollar arm sitting on this team, not getting save situations because there aren't any situations to save. And so I'm with you. I understand these are grown men, Mike, but at the same time, somebody's got to fire up this team because the last couple of weeks have been pathetic. And to lose 2 out of 3 to the Royals, to lose 2 out of 3 to the Mariners, it's absolutely insane. And I think that somebody needed to ignite this fire. And apparently it was enough to get the Angels the 2-1 win on Sunday. I was going to laugh my pants off if they weren't going to be able to win this game after the brouhaha. And I just have to say, I thought it was interesting that 2 former Reds, Rysel and Winker, were the ones kind of instigating things because they're former teammates. I don't know what the background is there, but at the same time, like, everybody got tossed. Phil Nevin, Rysel, Tepera, Andrew Wantz, Scott Service, Jesse Winker, Julio Rodriguez, JP Crawford. JP Crawford had little brother punches in the back of somebody's head. And we all have to shout out Anthony Rendon for doing what he did with a cast on. And look, I'm fired up because I've been fighting Mariners burner accounts on Twitter all day long who are trying to talk crap on our Halos. And I'm not going to let them do it. You out there with the 2 followers, I'm not going to let you talk crap on my Halos.
Oh,
and
no,
if
you do.
I'm gonna take you into the wrestling ring like The Rock, and I'm gonna embarrass you with my words because that's exactly what's gonna happen here. So I'm fired up too, if you can't tell. But I just look, at the end of the day, I'm so excited that this happened. Again, grown men acting like this. It is what it is, and I just think that everybody needs to be put in check. Both teams, you're stinking right now. Hopefully, you can take this fire into the next game, because if you don't, then you just embarrass yourselves on a Sunday afternoon. And I mean, that's my rant, Michael. That's all I got to say about it. So there you go.
Well, those are our thoughts on the Angels. And coming up on Locked On Angels, you are going to give us your thoughts. We're going to open up the mailbag and the voicemail, and I can't wait to hear some of your thoughts about what happened Sunday and about what happened this weekend and how to make this team better. But first, John, Locked On Angels is brought to you by Athletic Greens.
It is brought to you by Athletic Greens. It's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition from Athletic Greens. With 1 scoop of AG1 in a cup of water every day, you can fill your body with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. AG1 is a lifestyle friendly, so if you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, AG1 is going to work for you. AG1 contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or anything like that, nothing artificial, and it still tastes good. This supplement supports better sleep quality and recovery, mental clarity and alertness, and so many people have tried AG1 and they love it. In fact, they have over 7,000 5-star reviews. That's a lot of approval for AG1. It's recommended by professional athletes and trusted by leading health experts. So if you're interested in AG1, go to athleticgreens.com today to start choosing better health. And it gets even better because Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/MLB network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/MLB network to take ownership over your health.
And we're here today because of our friends at BlueNile.com. Blue Nile is the original online jeweler, and since 1999, they have helped millions of couples create their perfect engagement ring. Blue Nile is committed to ensuring the highest ethical standards are observed when sourcing diamonds and jewelry. And if it's not perfect, if the ring's not perfect, if you don't like it, no problem. 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can shop stress-free with guarantee, free shipping and returns. And if you need this purchase fast, in most cases, Blue Nile can deliver overnight. Every order is insured, and it arrives in a discreet package that won't give away the details of what's inside. So make those special moments sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com, and Locked On Angel listeners get $50 off $500 purchases or more. Use the promo code Locked On at checkout. That's Locked On at checkout. Go to BlueNile.com today.
All right, Mike, we are going to get into the voicemail line here, and we have 3 voicemails we're going to address, and later on we're going to talk about the changes that the listeners of Locked On Angels would make if they were going to fix the team. Now, let's get into the first voicemail.
Hey, Super Bros, this is Tracy McBate from Henderson, Nevada. I called before. Phil Nevin definitely put his stamp on this team today. There's absolutely no question about it, and I applaud him. Trout getting buzzed by Swanson yesterday in Saturday's game. You don't go after somebody's head. We all know just how important Trout is to the Angels, but everybody's got to realize that Mike Trout is important to Major League Baseball. He's truly a superstar. But the brilliant move by Nevin is the fact that he started Wentz. You know that you're only going to get an inning out of the reliever, and he's got a job to do and send a message back that, hey, Trout, we got your back, and we're going to send a message to the Mariners that if you're going to throw at our guy, we're going to throw at your guy. So Wentz gets ejected, and who comes in but Suarez to pitch 6 solid innings. I don't know if this is going to get more wins or anything for the Angels, because I still believe it's a mediocre team. But what it does is, I think they're all kind of rallying around the flag, so to speak, and it'll bring a team together. I'm not sure it'll make them better, but also, Mike Trout knows that he's got his back covered. So my hat is off to Phil Nevin for starting a reliever that'll only go 1 inning. His job was to protect the Angels. He did his job, and Suarez came in and did his job. But there's no business in baseball by throwing at somebody's head the way that happened last night by Swanson. All right, go Angels.
Tracy from Henderson, Nevada. We always appreciate when you give us a voicemail, my friend. Thank you for giving us a call. Mike, I don't think Tracy could have said it any better, because if I'm a relief pitcher and I know that Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani are the two carrying this team, what am I going to do to stand up for my guy? I'm going to do my job. I'm going to go out there and send a message. And I think that's exactly what Andrew Wantz did, because Andrew Wantz doesn't hold a bat. Andrew Wantz isn't the one scoring runs. And so if I'm him, I like the fact that I have Trout's back, and this is the way that I can repay Trout and show him that I care about his safety and his health, and that I'm not going to put up with anybody throwing at his head. What do you think?
I think he nailed the idea of Phil Nevin setting the tone. I think that this is Phil Nevin to a T. Phil Nevin is a hothead. Phil Nevin is fired up.
Joe wouldn't have done this.
Right? No, Joe wouldn't have done this at all. And Phil he fired them up. And it was something that this team needed. I still think that this is, babyish and immature, but I do think that what Tracy is saying is Phil is looking for something to get them going. And I do agree with your point as well with Rysel. I think that this is that moment where, hey, we're just going to let all of our emotions out at this moment. In this moment, we're going to throw out sunflower seeds and bubble gum, and we're going to get it all in the field because we're tired of how we're playing. And I think that this could be a make or break moment for them. I hope that they're not the mediocre team that Tracy said that they are. There's a feeling in all of our hearts that it is, but maybe this could be a catalyst for something new.
I got to say, I love the image of Taylor Ward and Matt Duffy and the Bat Boy cleaning up the bubble yum out at second base.
They're great guys. How about that, man? Isn't that great? Like, they're all picking it up.
Let's go to another voicemail. This one came in after Saturday night's game.
Hey guys, Mike from Camarillo. Boy, this feels like it's a deja vu all over again for the last 4 or 5 times we've been going through this. It's funny because I keep on looking at my boys, and we all love the Angels, but I came home from a work trip last night, and my oldest son walked up and said, "Dad, is it time to throw in the towel?" Which is hard to see that as I look at the eyes of my son. And I said, "No, not yet. It's not over yet." But boy, it's feeling like we're on the verge. So just wanted to share that thought with you guys and get your opinion. Go Angels at the end of our team. Go Halos. Bye.
Mike from Camarillo, thanks for calling us in. What a heartbreaking story. Angels, I hope you're listening, because you let Mike's boys down. How dare you?
Yeah.
I've never been a dad, and I hope to be a dad someday, but to look in my child's eyes and have him ask me the question, is it time to throw in the towel on this team? How sad. I mean, this is what the Angels are doing to us right now. Now, hopefully the fight today fired them up, but then you have to ask the question, what kind of example does that fight today set for fans in the stands who got to witness this? In fact, there was a young girl who wanted to see Joey Votto last season, and he got ejected, and she cried. Her name's Abigail. Well, it just turns out that Abigail was also at this game today, hoping to see Jesse Winker and Eugenio Suarez, because they were her favorite players too, and she just happened to be in attendance. And there's a picture of her. There was a picture of her crying, just like the Joey Votto situation. So at the end of the day, I mean, look, it's one thing for the Angels to set an example of, like, do we give up on our team? But to set an example for the kids, how they did today. And it didn't help that Jesse Winker was flipping everybody off in the stands today. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. He apologized. I don't know if you saw that tweet, but he did apologize.
I don't care.
I know you don't care. Here's the thing. If they really want to back up Trout and they really want to impress the fans and they really want to help Mike's sons feel good about this team, then I've got one word for you. It's 3 letters. It's HIT. Hit.
I was going to say win. Then freaking win, Angels. All right, let's go to one more voicemail, Mike. This one's a softball. Here we go.
Okay.
Hey, what's up? This is David calling from my hotel room in Anaheim, California. Went to the game last night, Christmas in June. Very frustrated with the outcome, but did enjoy the promotion. Wanted to get your guys' thoughts on what your favorite promotions are for the remainder of the season, which games you're really looking forward to going to because of the promotions. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
I think I got my favorite promotion right here. If you're watching on the video side, I've got my World Series long sleeve T-shirt.
Heck yeah.
That I got on Wednesday during the O2 celebration. And so for our audio listeners, I've been holding up my shirt. I like it. It's long sleeve. It's jersey material, Mike.
It is.
But you know what? My favorite kind of giveaways are there's a Shohei hat coming up, a 17 hat. There's an MVP Shohei shirt coming up. So there's lots of things to look forward to. Mike, what kind of giveaways do you like when you go to the game?
Anything that I can wear. Give me a shirt, give me a hat. I got a big old head. If you're watching on the video side, you see that. But anything that I can wear, I love, because I still have our shirt that they gave us when they invited us. Angels invited us into one of the suites. And I still have my shirt from that gathering. I wasn't able to go, but you brought that shirt to me, and I wear that pretty often. And my wife actually for Father's Day bought me a City Connects T-shirt. So I'm gonna be rocking that on the pod coming up pretty soon.
I love that. So our favorite giveaways are the kinds of things that you can wear. Absolutely.
Well, coming up on Locked On Angels, we're going to talk more about the Angels. We're going to get into the mailbag. We're going to look at some of your questions. But first, Locked On Angels is brought to you by our friends at BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs, which just concluded Sunday night. Congratulations to the Avalanche and Major League Baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to esports, scores, and more. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all of that, and it's the fastest and easy way to check on your favorite sports and favorite events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions. BetOnline is where the game starts.
Well, Mike, this episode has already gone pretty long because I had that nice little rant at the beginning. If you can't tell, this didn't just fire up the boys. It fired me up as an Angels podcaster. So.
Heck yeah. It's about time.
We put out the question over the weekend. What would you do to immediately change the team and bring them some success? And we had a lot of responses. Mike, we're going to rapid fire through these.
Okay.
The first one I have is from Nihad Sheriff 63 on Instagram. If only there was a way to fire Artie. Look, that's not going to happen as long as Artie's making money and he's seeing the big bucks. I know that we want Artie to step down sometimes, but at the same time, it's not going to happen. And listen, I know it's frustrating.
This team has just been estimated to cost about $2.5 billion with the B dollars. And Artie has been an impactful owner to get this organization to a very lucrative place. Mm-hmm. And so when he's ready to sell, he'll sell. But Major League Baseball is not going to try to force him out. And Artie is not going anywhere. Although when Tim Salmon recognized him at the O2 celebration, Artie looked like an old man when they showed him on TV. He gave the old man wave and kind of the look of like, where am I right now? So it was just interesting, right? And so I think that if Artie does end up getting this team on this, ends up selling this team or getting rid of this team, it's going to be because he's ready to retire, or he's going to move on, or there's nobody in his family that wants to inherit it. But I wonder if that's going to be the case for Artie, is he'll just pass it along to somebody in his business group or somebody in his family. But I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
Acropolis 2828 on Twitter says, is it time for Artie to make a real change in the organization? And it needs to start from the very top. President of Operations John Carpino, his philosophy hasn't worked since he took over the team in 2010. And since then, the team has drastically gone down. What do you think about that one, Mike?
I think that if you're looking at Artie as a baseball guy, I think that you're looking at Artie and you're misrepresenting and misunderstanding him. He is a owner and he's a money maker. And so as long as he's going to be making money with this team, I don't think that he is going to care too much about the wins and losses. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't care, but I think Artie is looking at the bottom line, and the bottom line says that the Angels are a really lucrative team. And if he wants to put a winning team on the field, then I agree with you. I think somebody like a John Carpino needs to be gone, and they need to bring in somebody that's going to help adjust that. I think that that's why they brought in Perry. However, I think you're going to look at Artie as somebody who is going to be more focused on what he can do business-wise rather than what the team does on the baseball field.
This one, Steve Hahn 7 said, move on from Jeremy Reed. Now, our friends over at angelswin.com on Twitter, they had a great tweet about Jeremy Reed and some of the improvements that the hitters have made since coming to the Angels. I think Max Stassi was a great example of that. The fact that he went from somebody who was hitting below 200 to one of the best catchers in baseball, I think is a statement on what Jeremy Reed is doing. The problem is I don't think it's the hitting. It's not the hitting exercise of hitting. It's the approach at the plate. And I wonder how much of that falls under Jeremy Reed's umbrella.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think Jeremy Reed has been good for this team in the last few years, but I don't know. Like I say a million times, Mike, this team seems approachless when it comes to the plate. And that is minute to minute, second to second decision making. It's not essentially, hey, I'm going to teach you how to swing a bat, or I'm going to teach you how to improve your swing. I mean, look at Taylor Ward. That's another guy who has massively improved at the plate and being more patient. But I don't know. What do you think about the Jeremy Reed situation?
Well, you got a second question here, or a second statement that said new hitting coach and pitching coach. And I think that often becomes the narrative, that they become the fall people for this, right? The fall guy for a team that's really, really struggling. But here's the deal, man. We just fired our manager. I don't think that they're going to fire these guys mid-season. I think if they do adjust anything, it's going to be off season. But I don't necessarily disagree with you on Jeremy Reed and his success, but I do think that a part of their approach comes from what Jeremy Reed is preaching. And I wonder what he's preaching right now. Then again, we don't ever get to hear from him. We don't get to hear about this conversation at all. So it's all speculative, but I wonder what sort of approach he has. And I wonder what sort of approach Matt Wise has, because it seems like with the pitching staff, and we've talked about this ad nauseum on the pod, is that these guys aren't finishing. These guys might be tipping their pitches. They're even people on Twitter are noticing that. Our good buddy Jared Timms was actually tweeting out when Detmers was pitching. He was like, oh, he's squeezing the ball hard when he pitches a fastball, and he's squeezing the ball light in his glove when he's pitching something that's not a fastball. And Jared knows baseball, but Jared is not a pitching coach. Jared is not a manager, and he's noticing this stuff.
Yeah.
And so if he's noticing this stuff, I can imagine what the guys who see baseball every single day are noticing.
Well, he's not an MLB pitching coach, but he is a pitching coach in real life.
Right, yeah.
Valzav13R said, bullpen problems past and present. Is this a scouting problem, staff, coaching, or organization? Look, we invested $39 million in the bullpen in the offseason, and guys like Archie Bradley, guys like Aaron Loop, who had a 0.95 ERA last season. I don't know. It's to me, if these guys have proven success the way that they have, then that reflects on the coaching to me.
100%.
And if they come into the Angels organization and they begin to fall apart, I think something's going on there. So to answer your question, Valzav13R, I think there's something going on with the Angels coaching staff and this organization. How about this question from Invasion of Mikes? The Angels don't seem to have a full-time spot for Adele, seem reluctant to bring him up as a platoon fourth outfielder, package him with a pitching prospect or two, maybe Detmers to the Rockies for German Marquez and Daniel Bard. Marquez is controlled through 24. Bard is in a free agent year. Mike, I want to give this one to you, but before I do, I just want to say Daniel Bard is the closer for the Rockies. And if he's in a free agent year, I don't think he'll want to come to a situation where he would not be the closer. He might get some opportunities if Rysel needs a day off, but I think this is Daniel Bard's time to show that he can close games so that when he does go into his free agent year, he'll get the deal that he wants to get. But what do you think about Invasion of Mike's question?
Well, I think that he makes a really good point, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow on the pod, actually. We got to do something with Joe. Like, what is going on with Joe? That's the question, because he was out of the lineup for 3 days for an undisclosed situation, and maybe it was personal, and maybe it was COVID. We don't know, and that's fine. We don't need to know those details. But the fact that we keep bringing up all of these, like, AAA, AA, free agent, DFA'd guys to play left field, and we're not bringing up Joe, like, tells me that there's something that they see that maybe we're not seeing, or they just don't like him, or they're trying to save him for something. I am of the opinion we got to do something with Joe. And it seems like Mike's agree here, because he's even saying the same thing. And I love the trade example. I think your point is well taken, John, but I think that he's actually asking the question, like, if he's just going to like wander
Sit
around
there, yeah.
in AAA, then let's figure out what we're going to do with him, and let's figure it out soon.
Well, I think that, again, it brings up a good conversation for tomorrow's episode. I'm looking forward to that because I have lots of thoughts on the Joe Adell situation. Let me go to Michael Torres here. He said, thoughts on trading Ohtani for a massive haul. Pains me to say this because he's my favorite player. I love this team more, and his value has never been higher. Build around Sandy, Lorenzen, Detmers in the rotation, and Trout, Walsh, Marsh in the lineup. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder. We have a year and a half left on this contract, and I imagine at some point the Angels are going to have a hard look in the mirror and decide what they want to do with Ohtani. Do they want the dollars with Ohtani, or do they want to build a winning team? And my heart says the Angels will want the dollars, but what do you think?
I agree 100% because Artie's the owner, and Artie knows how to make money, and Ohtani's going to make him money even if he has to spend money. But I do think that if the Angels are going to be a team, a baseball-minded first team, that's going to be the priority, they have to at least consider this and put it down on paper and ask all the questions and seek out all the answers, because I think that they could get a pretty strong haul for Shohei Ohtani right now, simply because of where his contract is at. And you could get a lot of really great players. The only issue, though, is that you just don't get a guarantee that those players are going to be great when you get them back. And we've seen that as Angels have been traded away for big-time players over the last few years. There's not a guarantee that you're going to have these guys on the field. It might just be a replica of a few guys that we've had before, a David McKinnon or a Brandon Marsh or something like that. And those guys are great. They're not superstars like Ohtani, and it may not help us win. So you have to weigh all of those factors when you're making big decisions like this.
And you probably aren't going to get guys who are ready now to help Trout win that coveted World Series, right?
Yep.
Blake Conlin on Instagram, he said, dare I say, be sellers and plan for, I think he meant 2023. He wrote 2022. Plan for 2023. I'm not out on this team quite yet. I think that I want to wait till the All-Star break. Look, you and I have said, let's see what this record looks like by the All-Star break. Do they go 18-10? Do they go 10-18? And right now it's looking like somewhere in the middle because of the way they've been playing right now. So I'm not quite out on selling quite yet. And especially when you have the All-Star break and you have till early August to make trades, I think then they can really make some decisions there. I like this one, Mike. Aggie Nicky says, Suarez and Silseth for Jazz Chisholm. If the Marlins do it, I would take it. I just don't think that the Marlins need any pitching because they are stacked with pitching. So if there's a move we can make to get Jazz, I would take it in a heartbeat. What about you?
Yeah, Jazz will bring some fire. That's the thing that this team has needed before this fight on Sunday. And so I'd love to see him play full time. And he may even be somebody that just completely replaces Marsh, and Marsh moves to that fourth outfield spot if they're not going to do anything with Adell. So that might be a good move for them. And if the Marlins take it, let's go.
Absolutely. Now, these questions kind of go together. Elliot Reforgiate on Instagram said, we need to actually let Duffy start. Why do we only play him every day? And then on the other hand, Game Over 27 said, send down Velasquez and Wade, bench Duffy, and find a whole new left infield. So look, Duffy was never meant to be in the role that he's in. He was meant to be second base. Fletcher was meant to be shortstop. Everything changed when we saw how good Velasquez was at short. Duffy was a great, hey, let's get him in every now and then. And I don't think that him being in every day is the solution. In fact, our good buddy RJ Balver said we definitely need a third baseman. You talked about this last Friday, Mike. I'm still on the get Brandon Drury, get Miguel Andujar, get one of those guys who can play third base or the left side of the infield over here. What do you think?
Why not? Why not? Make the deal. Let's make some decisions. Let's do something. I'm a huge fan of David McKinnon. I think he's been really, really great. And if he didn't have that hit that put us up 2-1, he would have had 6, 7, 8 left on base at the end of that game. And he's batting cleanup, by the way, which is where Taylor Ward should be. And so,
correct.
I mean, this is, it's fun to watch McKinnon learn. It's fun to watch him try to play third, but that's the problem with the Angels. It's fun to watch. And no longer do we want, hey, it's really, that's cute, right?
We're having a good time.
Let's win. Let's stop being cute and let's win, right?
I'm with you, man. Look, I'm going to change it up on you. I'm going to finish this one out for us. So thank you for making Locked On Angels your first listen every day. Now make your second listen the Locked On MLB Prospects Show. We've had host Lindsey Crosby on our show before, and he is a prospect encyclopedia.
He's great.
And with the draft coming up, he is going to give you great insight into the MLB stars of tomorrow. So be sure to follow him on Twitter and find his show, the Locked On MLB Prospect Show. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts.
And you can follow us on Twitter at Locked On Angels, and you connect with John and I on Twitter and Instagram at Super Halo Bros. And if you ever get into an argument with us on Twitter on either one of those handles, just know that you're talking to John.
I will fight you verbally. Mike, what do we have on deck for tomorrow?
Well, we mentioned it already, but tomorrow on Locked On Angels, we're going to tell you why Joe Adell should be on the Major League roster and not in AAA. Get him out of there. Get him out of there now.
Well, until that conversation tomorrow, I'm going to keep fighting Mariners burner accounts on Twitter and doing the Lord's work on behalf of our Halos. So until then, everybody, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
And come at me.
Come at me.
We'll see you
the
tomorrow.
Angels have to fight on the field.
We'll see you tomorrow on Locked On Angels. Thank you.